Hey y'all, it's your girl Stephanie's Wrestling Color Podcast right here on YouTube. Make sure you thumbs up the video. Make sure you subscribe. My goal is to get 300 by the new year, 2022. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest, and make sure you dive into all of the content that I have available over on this YouTube station, right? Okay, boom. So what we talking about? You see it. Hiring practices. So the rumor out there, which for the most part seems either they're gonna switch it up last minute or the rumors are true, that WWE is reportedly changing their standards and practices. With that being said, according to your boy Meltzer, Thirsty Meltzer, WWE is offering the idea of 60-day trial contracts. 60 days is 2 months. Trial contracts. And within those 2 months, you have to sink or swim with whatever gimmick they're giving you and see what happens. After those 60 days, you're cut. Or they'll offer you a longer contract. Maybe it goes into another 60-day contract or a 90-day contract. Um, then they want to change what they're looking for. They want to, according to Brian Alvarez of the same Wrestling Observer, they want to have women that are 25 and under. He said even 23 years of age. And they're targeting men who are 27 or younger, at least 6'2". Okay? Now, let's be clear. Mandy Rose, Raquel Gonzalez, Io Shirai, Dakota Kai, they're in their 30s. Cora Jade, that girl who comes out on a skateboard, she is, I believe, 20 or 19 or 20 years old. I don't know who she's appealing to, but I get the feeling it's a bunch of old men. But that's a whole nother conversation for a different day. Mandy Rose, yes, she's cute, but she ain't that fucking cute. And she needs to ease up on the bronzer because it's getting a little bit catfishy, okay? I do like Gigi Dolan and JC Jane. I think they're good wrestlers. And you guys seem to like Gigi's ass. So that's always a plus, right? Um, kind of figured that's where they were going. I didn't know they were going to go with this whole age thing, but when you have a company that has someone like Alexa Bliss calling Mickey James geriatrics, walking out on a walker, she a old bitch. Every time they get into a confrontation, basically Mickey James is called old. I'm not shocked by this. This is what Frankie Monet was upset when somebody was like, "Yeah, well, stop hiring these old ass wrestlers." And she said, "Well, I'm only 30 fucking 8. Like, what is wrong with y'all?" So here we gonna say, this is what I think. This is what I think. If I'm a parent, because you do know parenting don't stop at 18. Okay, as long as we know that. If I'm a parent and my 23-year-old daughter, 25-year-old daughter said, "Mom, I want to be a wrestler." And I want to know the particulars. Unless we're living in Florida, that means she has to move to this place that she's going to wrestle. She has to be able to pay for room and board and food. She has to be able to get to the venue. She has to know where she's going. Okay, because I'm not moving with her or him in order for them to play around and fuck around with the WWE, and they can't get over the bullshit that they're given, and they just be wayward out with 60-day contracts, 60-day trials. Not to mention, if this person is coming from another country, there are visa issues. There's a lot of things that need to take place for immigrant wrestlers, because that was the issue with all these cuts. You cutting Mexicans and Australians and fucking Japanese wrestlers, and then they just floating because they need to be here on a visa. We don't hear about that because why would we? But there are immigration issues when you cutting people and they're not American citizens. Now, if it's I would say Any other job gives you 60 days. Not 60, I'm sorry. It used to be 90-day probation. Now there's 6 months. Most jobs are doing 6 months probation. If if you can't get what's going on in 6 months, they have all the right to cut you. Some jobs don't even let the benefits kick in till 90 to 60 days, just in case they're going to fire you before you meet that threshold and you locked in. I think this is a bad idea, and I think that's going to backfire on the WWE. You want people to learn the style of WWE wrestling. You want them to learn long ass promos. You want them to learn camera work. You want them to learn fucking outfits, makeup. It's like a traveling circus. It's a TV show. You want people who have no wrestling experience. That's what Brian Alvarez says. He wants people with little to no wrestling experience but be athletic. And you want them to learn some shit in 60 days? Absolutely not. I don't know what these standards and practices are that WWE has. Um, when you're and then you have these people under this independent contract bullshit, and you treating them like full on employees. Not to mention these people have to pay for their own travel, unless they big time stars. They up there making that, you know, that Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar money. They have to pay for their own travel. They have to pay for their own room and board. They have to pay for everything. And you want somebody to put all of that to the side to come and play with you, and you're not even serious with the product? NXT, I'm watching this show, and I can already tell the women's revolution, evolution, it's pretty much done. Okay? It's done. We won't be seeing all that hardcore ass wrestling. We're not gonna be seeing all that type Bailey and Sasha wigs and shit split, eyelash coming off, makeup fucked up. We're not gonna see that no more. You can even see that with Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch. They're putting more into the emphasis of their look. Yes, they're wrestling, but they still have a womanly feature to them. Gone are the days of China and you know uh fucking EO and all of them wrestling just to wrestle. Gone are the days. We're not going to see that no more. We want to see young, hot 23, 25, ready to get out there, get into weird fucking storylines alluding to sex and dick sizes, maybe a cuckold. That's where we're going with women's wrestling. That's another conversation for another day. But I knew that. Ember Moon and Frankie Monet and all of them, they weren't gonna fit this roster. The fact that Aaliyah is in the Survivor Series, this woman's never been. I think she's only been on NXT TV probably twice. And something about her, maybe because she was saying the N word and all kinds of hateful shit on Twitter. I think that turns Vince on because Jackson Riker still has a job. I think something about her, coupled with that, is turning Vince on. And we're going to see what kind of wrestling this woman can do at the Survivor Series. Because she's been in NXT for what, 4 years? This woman's been in NXT since 2015. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. She been in there 7 fucking years. And I'm telling you right now, I haven't seen this woman do pretty much a nothing in those 7 years. I'm floored that she's called up to the main roster, and they putting a jetpack on her a little bit because she's going into the Survivor Series on the, is it the SmackDown side? I'm completely. She just made her debut this past Friday, November 5th. So I don't know if that's where they're going with it. Then women's wrestling is done. That's what you're looking for. She's 26, and we'll see how that goes. But that's really it. I wouldn't want anyone to gamble on WWE with this 60-day contract shit. They don't have to give you nothing. They don't have to offer you no health care. They don't have to make sure you're gonna be all right. If it was 60 days, if it was at least 90 days and room and board and everything's paid for and it's kind of like a college dorm, then maybe. But if you just gonna come and I'm supposed to just do all this shit by myself with no guarantee or none of that, nah, I don't think so. I'm gonna leave it at that. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Would y'all let y'all kids do that? Would you do that if you was in the age group and you wanted to work for WWE? Would you sign a 60-day contract and hope for the best? Knowing you gotta cover everything the fuck else? Nah, B. I ain't doing it. Talk to you on the next one.